Uh-huh. Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Oh yeah. Uh-huh. Bow, 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 wow, 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 wow. Let's go, Boomers. We got a beautiful Week 8 slate going. We are currently in halftime of Eagles Jags, and it was a beautiful half of football. You know, you got to give the London fans what they want. They want to see the ball kicked, and you got to deliver that to them. So congratulations to Jaguars Eagles for giving the fans what they want. That's important. We need it. We need it. And then the Eagles get a late touchdown to go ahead at the break. Still hit that first half under. Bang on them. But you know what? I like that last play call. And I can't bring it up. I can't diagram it because I don't want to get the boot. But what's important with that last play call for the Eagles is that they went for a long TD pass out of 13 personnel. That doesn't happen a lot. What's 13 personnel? That's one receiver and 3 running backs, 1 tight end. So you're playing against the notion that it looks like a running formation. It looks like a power formation. It looks like an let's get to halftime formation. Boom. Deep pass, Wentz dime, get the lead. That's the Eagles, man. That's that subversive thought. Show one thing and do another thing. That's where the NFL coaches have been winning the first half of the season. I can't believe some teams are really going to play their halfway point, their 8th game today. This stuff goes by so fast. I almost family showed 5 seconds in. This goes by so fast. It is so hard to believe. But it's your boy Rick Rosen. I'm going to hang out here till 1 o'clock. Gave it an extra hour to let it breathe, stretch, shake, let it go, so I can have more time to both enjoy the London game and to get some research done, get some picks in. I didn't even get my picks in. I made a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Big time efficiency guy. Big PB&J on a waffle guy. And now we find ourselves at 11 o'clock heading into the second half of Eagles-Jaguars with a full slate ahead of us. Checking in on YouTube, checking in on Twitter. What's going on, G's? What's going on, people? I'm your boy, Rick Rosen. This is for Boom Fantasy. Check the messages at the bottom. We got to promote that Boom box. And I sent messages to about 300 Boom users this week. And I want to hear from all of them. So get at me. Check your messages. Tried to send a push, too. But I had some big problems today, technically wise. Your boy is a performer and not a tech man. But, you know, we're out here. Pause, 3 watch. Hey, Tanner, what's going on, baby? Taylor Gabriel or Geronimo, wide receiver 3, PPR. Would you flex either of them over Chubb? Well, Chubb's in a decent matchup, but I think he's going to get hurt by game script today. But he is the banger now without Carlos Hyde. He should get most of the work. Taylor Gabriel has been the upside guy, and the Jets have struggled with the slot. That's where the Vikings did a lot of damage. Geronimo Allison coming off an injury makes me nervous. If I'm the Packers, I think Valdez-Scantling should get looks over Allison and Cobb, who had a little bit of the dropsies early in the season. Valdez-Scantling just came in and made plays. He really did. So he should get, if I were running the Packers, he would get more time from me. So in that sense, I don't want Allison to have a good game. Taylor Gabriel broke his streak of back-to-back Hyundai games, but it appeared like he was the guy Belichick wanted to take out of the game plan last week in what was an explosive game for Trubisky. In man coverage, though, I don't necessarily think Gabriel could be a winner. Would I flex either of them over Chubb? I don't think I would. I'm going to go with Gabriel there. Allison just has to share his explosive plays with so many other weapons, and I understand that's a difficult question, but that's what they make the big bucks for, man. That's a tough one. Allison coming off an injury, I don't like it, although I do think that game should be high scoring, but the Packers receivers are going to have a tough time getting downfield because the Rams pass rush is up the middle and in your face. That'll be the toughest rush that Rodgers has faced this year, but Rodgers is going to have to do some real work. It is the largest underdog of Aaron Rodgers' career, Coach Mitchka. What's that? What's Coach Mitchka? The largest underdog of Aaron Rodgers' career is a 9.5-point dog today, going into that battle against the LA Rams. I took a prop this past week. I bet that the Rams would not lose until they play the Chiefs in Mexico City. So I'm becoming a Rams fan for the next couple of weeks. If they get through this contest, they still have to play the Niners or Cardinals and the Seahawks. It's division games through the next couple of weeks before that big Week 11 meeting in Mexico City against the undefeated Kansas City Chiefs. That game will be a banger. Can't wait. Can't wait for that, John. But in the meantime, we'll hopefully see some Rams wins. It was plus 400. It was a really good bet. And I think that the Chiefs will have a problem slowing down the Rams, but they'll schematically be prepared. Short week preparation goes in favor of Andy Reid, in my opinion. And I just think the Chiefs' offense is just as unstoppable as the Rams is, if not more so, because they're individual athletes not named Todd Gurley. Those are better than the ones the Rams have. Tyreek Hill's better than Brandon Cooks, and Mahomes is better than Jared Goff. That's just how I break that down. The difference makers will be the inside eaters, and Ndamukong Suh and Aaron Donald, and how much interior pressure they can get in every game. It should be the difference. So, yo, what's up, Pilo Dilo? We went up late on a Sunday, just hanging out. You got to message me about Boom. Check your messages, check your emails. We're so out here. We're talking to as many users as we can, trying to get some feedback on Boom Fantasy. That's why I go up at halftime. Let the boys enjoy the first half of Eagles-Jags. Enjoy the first half, because there wasn't a lot of football to enjoy. But I tell you what, Carson Wentz is a gamer. That dude continues to do things that verify his early pick status. And it's funny because, like, people want to apply the same logic to Josh Allen getting an early pick because they're both small school guys. It ain't like that at all. It ain't even close between the two. Carson Wentz continually makes NFL plays. Sorry, reading a tweet that says Kyle Lauletta remains the number 3 quarterback for the Giants today. Listen, I got no problem with that, but I would have just liked to I want to get a look at some point. This is not the week, but I would like to get a look. I think the Giants are an interesting bet today, just based on media perception. Losing Snacks Harrison and in the middle of the week like that, one of the best run stuffers in the league against a team that is solely dependent on Adrian Peterson to generate offense. I think that'll be a very interesting matchup today. I'm not sure I'm taking it, but I do like rooting for the Giants, so it could be a gambling independent cheer scenario for this guy. But we have the Eagles. We have Eagles in the under in a tease. It's a tease with the Eagles, the under, and then I got Chiefs at a pick'em. So anytime you can give me the Chiefs or Rams at a pick'em, I will snatchy McSnatcherson. The Chiefs are hosting the Broncos today, so all I need them to do is win, no matter what. And I should have put more on that in hindsight, because that feels like a really strong bet. So let me know what you're taking or what looks good on the board today. Let me know of your questions about the Boom Fantasy Contest. I don't have the screenshots up, but I will walk through the early slate of the Boom Contest as we move forward through the second half of this football game and into the 1 p.m. slate. Pick 2, Chubb, Diggs, Cohen, Breda, Kerryon. See, the thing about Kerryon is the last time he had a great game, he immediately had a huge fizzle out performance the next week. But after last week's game, it is really hard to deny just feeding him the ball again. Great matchup against the Seahawks. Kerryon, it was like the longest run in Lions history in the last 7 years, that he had a 70-plus yard run last week. The Lions committed to running the football. That was their plan in the offseason. They traded up. To get Frank I don't know if they traded up, but they took Frank Ragnow with their first-round pick, a beast guard, and they took Kerryon in the second round. They made sure that they got it done. Yeah, I got you, Piladillo. Wait. Oh, you took Kerryon out of there? Who'd you take out of there? Chubbs, Cohen. Oh, Breda. Quick edit. We got to send a message out. Sorry. All right. So I like Kerryon. I have a hard time benching Kerryon after last week. Not only that, he's creeping up to LeGarrette Blount in terms of goal line touches. He's got 10 carries inside the 10, and Blount has 12. So it's not as dominant a situation as the non-stat crowd would like you to believe. So now you're left with one more Chubb, Diggs, Cohen, and I got to tell you, I'm a Diggs guy. I know Lattimore's out there, but Thielen will probably be him. I like the Vikings in this game at home. The Saints are good against the run. It's going to open things up for Cousins to have to throw the ball. You know, they'll have to keep pace with Drew Brees because the Vikings defense is struggling, especially after losing Hughes, that big slot corner rookie. So I like Diggs as the biggest upside play of that group for sure. And then I also like Kerryon's my favorite guy out of that group. In terms of backs. Great question. Every one of those guys brings something unique to the table. Tariq Cohen had a quiet start to the season, but is very quietly creeping into fantasy relevance every week with RB2 type performances, high floor PPR upside performances, and getting into the end zone where Jordan Howard is not. Jordan Howard has been relegated to a risky RB2 flex play that is mostly touchdown dependent after getting a touchdown called back by penalty last week against the Patriots. A slow game for him. A game back and forth, high scoring, Bears needing to keep pace with the Patriots. That's the exact type of script that Jordan Howard cannot afford to have. What's up, Scott? I was gonna message you to let you know we were going up late today, but we went up late today because we're getting more prepared. We're hanging out, and there's London football on. My whole theory is that everyone would just rather watch football than watch me talk about football. So why go up during these London games? I'd rather go up at halftime when it's quiet. You know what I mean? Everyone's just, tilted over a 10-3 first half. Might as well keep it rolling. I like Eagles second half. I just don't like ball movement. I feel like, did that second half already go down? Is it already second half? I don't know. I went in the shower right at the half, right after the touchdown. So, very likely I missed all of halftime. Started the stream. What up, what up, what up, what up? If you're watching right now on the Boom Fantasy app, make sure you check your Boom messages. You go profile, and then you click on the envelope. You might have a message from Boom Rick asking to talk about Boom, because that is what I'm trying to do. Talk to as many users as possible about how we can make this better. Not this, the outside stuff. This, beautiful, perfect, inside and out. This could use work, could use improvement. Send notes, ASAP Rocky. Eagles switch to Prince Harry at half. Oh, does anybody know that? Can we take Jaguars live? Prince Harry in at QB? Hey, he's gonna be a dad. We can't be hating. Did anybody make out? But listen, it hasn't been a great 2018 for a lot of people. But man, is that guy winning? That guy's having a hell of a year. Bless him. Bless up. Let's get this stream booted and muted. I'll probably be 40 seconds behind. Last week, betting on the Chargers as the Titans got that back-to-back touchdown conversion attempt, and having it come through on Boom Chat was a very, very, very negative gambling experience for me. I didn't enjoy any of it. I just had to stare at Jeff's they got it. Jeff was all over it. Pilo Dilo, sorry if you missed it in the chat. I like Kerryon Johnson and Stephon Diggs. Those are your highest upside, your highest 2 touchdown plays. Johnson lead role, great matchup, and Diggs, great American hero, and Saints weak secondary. I think that's a pretty easy decision making. Not that when I say that, I don't mean that you shouldn't have. I mean it you can't be mad at the outcome if you start those 2 players, because those are super, super talented players, Diggs and Kerryon Johnson. So if they come out and they underperform, it's just on the coaching staff. You have the right call with opportunity, with matchup, with past performances, and we're just missing the actuality of it being an oblong ball and 50 super athletes. That's just why football is so frustrating. It's a non-round ball, and it's 50 super athletes. It's the best athletes we got banging for 60 minutes, and weird things can happen. And speaking of weird things happen, Washington lost to Cal 12-10 last night. I fell asleep and I woke up and that game was all immense types of frustrating for me. Washington is supposed to be a good team. You can't go on the road and lose to Cal. You can't only score 10 points to Cal. We hate that. They were a double-digit point favorite and they lost outright. We hate it. We despise it. Yeah, I lost money on that game, but I wanted Chris Peterson to make the NFL jump. You can't make the NFL jump losing at Cal, my guy. Jake Browning, you want to be an NFL quarterback? You want in this combo? You can't lose at Cal, my guy. That's a negative look, man. We hate the shit out of that. We hate it a ton. We're gonna look at game lines. We're gonna look at a parlay. We're gonna look at player props. We're gonna look at the Boom early slate. We're gonna do power rankings at noon because we're bumping everything up. For power rankings, we're going to do my opinions on this brand new video game that came out that everyone seems to be talking about. Eagles are going to start with the ball backed up. Jake Browning is not an NFL. I knew you were going to pop in the chat and tell me that, but it's worth talking about. It is worth talking about. Even if you wanted to be an NFL QB, you can't go lose to at Cal. That's just not a thing that is acceptable. So, weird flex, but okay. That team's been giving up way more points than 10 per game, so I just won't hear it. You and I, Mark, have talked about Chris Peterson's candidacy as an NFL head coach as younger and more collegiate coaches start to make their way into the NFL. That's not good, losing at Cal. You can't be doing that. Let's take a look at some lines real quick. This Jets-Bears line, I don't feel like that's right. 10 points is an absolute bucket to give to this Jets team who haven't been terrible, but they're just lacking a lot of talent with no Curse, no Pryor, no Enunwa, no Robbie. So that sucks. Well, Curse is the only guy, but he's like a shadow of himself. So 10 points, that's a lot to be given that team. Probably a stay away. They put the Jets and Giants up top like I'm going to take them over everything. That's stupid. Panthers-Ravens, another really sketchy game. I think the Panthers are a really good team, but the Ravens defense is all class. So I'm actually leaning under 44 here of all things. Let's throw that up there as one of our likes. Browns-Steelers. The thing about this game that was a tie last time, and I think it's fair to be like, oh, the Browns tied them last time. It could be close. The only problem is that the Browns had a +5 turnover differential in that game and still couldn't get the win. So if you take away 5 Steelers turnovers, how do you think that game's going to go? I don't necessarily think... Ty Lue fired? What? I love Mark comes in with the haymakers. Don't Woj me. Ty Lue, who's the coach now? Cavs culture not defined by wins and losses. You're 0-6, my guy. That's crazy because the Cavs were an NBA Finals caliber team last season, and they really only lost one rotational guy in the offseason. So for them to take this big a step back, it has to be on the coaching staff. Larry Drew is the new coach. Management meeting with Drew now. That's going to go over really well. Deshaun Jackson requested a trade today. Fire. Someone tried to get me fired today on Twitter. Did you guys see that? It was lucrative. We can investigate it further if you're curious. But thanks for that over-the-top haymaker Woj bomb. The Chiefs defense has been so good at Arrowhead. I love it. I love riding with the... Dude, I was looking at some Reddit degenerate gambling stuff over the weekend, or over the week. Send Blatt an edible arrangements. Sure. Yeah, he's a fighter pilot. Hundreds of decisions a game. That completely threw me off. Dang. Oh, so Reddit had this guy who was like rolling over his soccer bets. He was like betting and rolling it over. And he lost this week a $30,000 bet on PSG beating Napoli in Champions League. That's soccer for the uninformed. But what happened was I thought about the same thing for the Chiefs. Imagine if you've just been rolling over these Chiefs spread bets have been not even close. As who busted that big run? Is that Josh Adams? Is that Josh Adams breaking into fantasy relevance through the Jaguars secondary? Ooh, spicy memes. We love that. We love a 16-point half and a solid drive as the sun pours into our room heading into the first 15 minutes of Strem. So yeah, if you take away 5 turnovers, that's a different game, and I believe in the Steelers. Not necessarily 8.5. I'll probably buy that down to like 7 or 6 if I can. 2.5's a lot to buy, but I will. Likewise with the Chiefs, I just think Broncos could backdoor it, but I don't think so. I think that the Chiefs are just fine. The Broncos offense had their edges with Royce Freeman in when these teams met in primetime. I gotta stop watching the game, but the Chiefs are just a machine. And if Mahomes can avoid Miller and the Broncos pass rush, he should be fine. But that's the one difference. If Miller can have as godly a game as he had against the Cardinals, where he took over that game from the defensive line, then the Chiefs will be in trouble of covering 8.5. I don't think they're going to lose this game because the Broncos are going to have to score in Arrowhead over and over again, and it's probably just not happening. Seahawks Lions, this is a pretty tough one. The Seahawks are going to commit to running the ball, and if Snacks is too new to play a couple downs for the Lions, their run defense has been atrocious. But they've done a good job limiting mobile quarterbacks, and it's making me lean Lions at this point in time. Through the last few weeks, they've been really good. They're coming together. Their offense finally has balance where Matthew Stafford can just throw 20 times a game and throw 3 touchdowns. Like, that is a Matthew Stafford that we've literally never seen. Matthew Stafford's got almost a decade in this league and has never had a stable running game. If he gets one, this is not dumping the pass off to the flats, a legitimate power running game. And if the Lions can get that going and be balanced on offense with the talent at wide receivers they have, they are one of the more dangerous Lions wildcard teams than we've ever had, because that is a very strong combination. 3 and D. That's what you need. You need to be able to run that ball. Sorry, that's going to look bad. So the Lions are poised to look really good. Oop, did that. Bengals, Bucks. I like the Bengals here. Tampa Bay turned it over a bunch last week, tried to give the game away. Should be a shootout. Under 54, very much in play. So I like that better than... Actually, no, I don't like that better. I like it, but I like Bengals on its own as well. I also like the Colts. My favorite game of the late slate is Colts beating up on the Raiders. The Colts throw the ball a ton more than any other team, and that's where the Raiders have been pretty vulnerable. So should be a favorable matchup for Andrew Luck and T.Y. Hilton, who look real good. Is that touchdown? Touchdown, Feagles. That's Philadelphia Eagles, by the way. Rams, obviously, minus 330. Pretty good look. Over 57 feels locky, depending on how well the Packers can move the ball. But, the second half is going to be more important than the first half, as the Rams build an early lead. Don't count out Aaron Rodgers late if that team starts slow on the road and has to come on strong late in the game. They will always make a game of it with Rodgers as their quarterback. That much we've learned. Love the Cardinals this week. Absolutely love the Cardinals this week. This is a team in the Niners that got absolutely punished by the Cardinals' defensive line last week. The Niners did gain 400 yards, but they were sacked and sacked and sacked. The Cardinals' defense did a great job of bending, not breaking, and now they get offensive coordinator Byron mother-freaking Leftwich. Family show! I cannot wait to see some old Bruce Arians-style passing attack. Empty the chamber, be aggressive, throw down the field, get David Johnson in space. This is the day we've been waiting for as Cardinals offense enthusiasts. It doesn't get any better than a matchup against a vulnerable Niners defense at home. Get right game, bounce back. We really need this as a Cardinals win total over having, and as a Josh Rosen enthusiast, baby. We need to be all about this one. Under 41 also in play. We like the Vikings tonight. Revenge game, plus at home, decent pass rush, can stop the run, very important when you're playing the Saints, and that'll do it. That'll do it for the games for today. Probably taking the Pats, but probably not touching most of the action in the Pats Bills game. 14 points is just too much for any road team. So this is a 9-team parlay that will pay off 1 in 30,000. So I'll bet $1 to win 330. That's probable. I bet $10 to win $4,000. Under 44, Panthers, Ravens, Steelers spread, Chiefs spread, Lions spread, Bengals spread, Colts spread, Packers, Rams over, Cardinals spread, Vikings spread. Picking 9 games against... Oh, Shawnee Mack with a paragraph. Oh, damn, there's another... Shawnee Mack with a legit paragraph. Whoa, I can wager negative $1. Did you guys see that? I can wager a penny? 10 cents to win 34. We love that. Let's read Shawnee Mack's. Let's see if there's a random accent selector that we can read Shawnee Mack's paragraph in. Random accent generator. Generate random countries. Random countries. Mr. Stravinsky's random accent generator. No, this is something I shouldn't be clicking on. Random sentence generator, fake Russian accent generator, general random countries. How about this? I don't know any of these. Oh, this was a bad idea. This was a bad idea. This was a bad idea. Let's just read it in a British accent because it's Shawnee Mack and it is the London game. And I haven't read this yet. Read it, you gay late fantasy show. Hey, whoa, whoa, whoa. There's nothing wrong with some of those adjectives. There's nothing wrong with being, I am late. There's nothing wrong with any of the rest of those things. Shawnee Mack. Okay, so it's time for my league ravaged by the buy monster. We know it. Iranian Shawnee Mack. You're trying to get me in trouble. All right. English accent, Shawnee Mack's latest rant paragraph. Oh, goddamn. There's another bullshit London game on today. I'm finna act like people watch these trash-ass games as cover to throw up a thick middle finger to the Boom universe. Rick Rose in pre-show planning 12 hours ago. It kind of drifted into Australian, but overall, very solid. Thank you. Thank you for that, Shawnee Mack. I deserve to be shamed for being late, but you know, priorities are priorities. Ask about the bold and underlined statements at the bottom. Check your Boom messages. If you're a Boom user and you're watching this stream, I am trying to communicate with as many users as possible this weekend. Go to your profile, go to the envelope icon, and check to see if you got something from me so we can have a phone conversation about the app, about ways we can do better, things you like, things you don't like, and ways we can improve together. Did you like that one? That was va with the V. That's plenty British. That's a regional thing. 2000 and late. I'll show up the 35th of Neverwary. Just watch me, boys. Yeah, so a lot of good matchups today. I like that Colts-Raiders game. I like we have some games that are influenced by injury and trade overreactions, namely the Giants line and the Colts line after Damon Harrison and Amari Cooper both got dealt. The Amari Cooper trade, pretty crazy when you think about it. Here's a guy that dominated at one point in the league, but for a very, very brief period of time, and now comes in to a Cowboys situation where they need a receiver, but they lack offensive creativity. Also picked 2 running backs and a flex, or Pilo Dilo. Aaron Jones, Jalen Richard, Breda, Devontae Booker, or Sterling Shepard. Aaron Jones and Shepard are both locks in that group. Now we're looking for another running back between Richard, Breda, and Booker. I'm hesitant to go with Matt Breda, Pierre Garçon drawing trade deadline looks. A lot of trade deadline stuff in the NFL. What league am I watching? Ooh. Big gainer for the Yags. Yags driving. Easy, boys. Easy, boys. So you're just looking for a running back between Rashard, Breida, Booker, all PPR upside. Get Booker out of there because Lindsey's going to do whatever Booker does and better. So it comes down to Rashard and Breida. I do think Rashard will eventually earn the majority of touches in Oakland, but we're going to get one Doug Martin game just to prove that Doug Martin is ass because Gruden likes Doug Martin and is a stubborn old man. So we'll probably see a lot of Doug Martin today, and then we'll see Rashard moving forward. So I'm just nervous about Breida's health. But he did have a really solid game last time against the Cardinals as I look up Breida. Expected to be limited today. I'm just not interested in starting him. So give me Rashard in a game script game. The Raiders are going to have to be throwing. No Marshawn Lynch is a huge loss for that offense, but also no Amari Cooper. So they're going to have to find ways to get other athletes involved today. I think the biggest winner of the last 2 weeks for the Raiders has been Jared Cook. Jared Cook has come out of nowhere to be a tight end 1 in a year where a lot of tight ends have really struggled, and it's been hard to get top end tight end consistency. Losing Amari Cooper and losing Marshawn Lynch is going to do wonders for the Raiders' increased short passing usage, and that goes right into Jared Cook's pocket. That dude, if he could stay healthy, he could have a monster second half. We're approaching PPR league winner status with Jared Cook. To have a guy like that get upwards of 8 targets a game and to consistently produce in an offense that doesn't produce, that's a molto bene. We love that. So, and I say it's been a really down year for tight end because a lot of big draft equity was put into guys like Gronk, and if not Gronk, that third type of player after Ertz and Kelsey. I think Gronk is at a top tier for touchdowns, but then Ronald Jones, good underdog snag for a passing TD tonight. I'm assuming you talk about Ronald Jones and throwing the ball. I don't think so. I was big on Ronald Jones entering the week. Touchdown, no touchdown. Jags terrible. Stanford or Matty Ice. What's going on, Amanda? Thanks for popping in. Both good options. Let's do Ronald Jones first. So I was big on Ronald Jones as the sun just pours into the office. I'm not going to lie. It's pretty beautiful. Ronald Jones took starting back reps on Wednesday at Bucs practice, and everyone freaked out because Ronald Jones is finally going to get uncaged. Peyton Barber is actually going to start, and he'll be fine. It's worth noting that when the Bucs and Browns went to overtime last week, disaster, Jacquizz Rodgers took all the work in overtime. So if that's how that's going to play out in the Bucs backfield, I don't want anything to do with Ronald Jones until he gets legitimate work. You're actually asking about Roland Jones. All right, Shawnee Mack's getting the band hammer. We love it. Bah. So let's do a real question. Stafford or Matty Ice? Stafford's got an interesting matchup with the Seahawks, who have been pretty pass deficient. My biggest worry with Stafford is his actual workload throwing the football because, because last week he had only 22 pass attempts. He had a nice game, but his pass attempts were down, and the Seahawks go against the run. Touchdown, D.D. Westbrook. But it really doesn't matter because Matty Ice is on bye. So there's no game for Matty Ice today, Amanda. So that actually makes it a really easy question. Sorry about that. I had a little brain fart on who the Falcons were playing. They are playing nobody. And there it goes. D.D. Westbrook, the viablest of all the viable Jaguars wide receivers. He got that, 1 and 2. If I just saw the replay on the touchdown, let me know how far behind my stream is. I'm always interested in seeing where the reality is because I'm behind for you and then behind in the app. So really, I'm probably like 2 minutes. You're probably already in commercial on this football game. You met Baker Mayfield. Oh, okay. First of all, thanks for popping in and staying consistent. Second of all, that's a great question. So we encouraged the purchase of all Browns a couple of weeks ago when we talked about they're going for 2. This would be bad for Eagles -3. Get a stop. We got to stop. Woo! All right. Eagles -3. Still hanging. We love that. All right. Woo! So we encouraged all the purchases of the Browns players on offense. a couple weeks ago, they started this 5-game stint where they play some of the worst defenses in football, and it hasn't really panned out through a couple weeks. The Bucs game wasn't exactly the offensive explosion that we were looking for from the Browns. It was actually a disaster. Baker Mayfield has been one of the... Can you run back the 9 team? Yeah, I will run back the 9-team parlay. I might put 10 cents on it. It's not a 9-team parlay, Scott. It's just the collection of things that I like. I don't know if I'm going to actually put 10 cents on it, but now that I know I have the option of putting 10 cents on things, I might be more inclined to put 10 cents on things. So what's happened with the Browns is a combination of things. The line has not been good. Baker has been the worst quarterback in the league. He's got the lowest completion percentage under pressure of any quarterback in the league, right? So when the pressure comes, he folds. He's also getting hurt by drops. Antonio Callaway has been horrible for what was supposed to be a first-round talent coming out of Florida who fell late in the draft because of his off-the-field issues. It could just be his on-the-field issues of not being able to catch the ball. That plus getting rid of Carlos Hyde. Chubb is good, but I'm beginning to worry about their overall effectiveness on that side of the football. And so I'm going to... Khalil Mack inactive. Woo! I wouldn't be mad at... that feels like an over game now. Roll Cousins this week, ladies and gentlemen. Shawnee Mack, stone cold lock pick of the week. Matt Ryan on bye. Should I start Alex Smith or pick up Keenum, Flacco, or Carr? Don't start Alex Smith. That team has committed to a ground and pound style with Adrian Peterson. Nobody's more disappointed in it than I am, besides maybe Justin McMahon from DFI, who told us to get MVP odds on Alex Smith at 60-1 because of his previous offensive efficiency with the Chiefs. Will accept sexual favors of repayment of thanks. Hey, just don't put him on your Pornhub channel. We talked about this. Be appropriate. It's 2018. Keenum, Flacco, or Carr is interesting because Keenum and Carr are both being pushed towards good narrative starts. Keenum because there's no Chad Kelly pressure behind him because he got cut, and Carr because there's renewed faith in him after the bye week and all the questions surrounding the Raiders offense and Amari Cooper. And now he doesn't have to force feed Cooper the ball, but that still means he won't throw it deep. I like Flacco, but I understand why people wouldn't. On the road, Flacco has been about as boom or bust as quarterbacks go. I just want to show you Flacco's game log this year to show you he actually has been good and mediocre, nearly alternating. Allen Robinson also inactive. I'm leaning under, boys. Boys and girls, Amanda's in the chat. Will accept. Okay. I do think Cousins is an optimal play. So of Keenum and Carr, I take Keenum because of that Chiefs defense, but they did try to run the ball a lot when they last met in primetime. Look at Joe Flacco's stats real quick. 3 touchdowns, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Here's a 2-touchdown, no-pick game. Here's a 2-touchdown, no-pick game. And in between them, sandwiched in between them, is some of these 1-1, 0-1, 1-0. But his attempts are up. Joe Flacco is actually third in the league in passing attempts behind Andrew Luck and Ben Roethlisberger. So I love this particular iteration of the Ravens offense. On the road, not ideal, but a couple of teams have put up points on the road against the Panthers, including my anemic Giants. So if I had to go with someone, I like Flacco. Should I jump on Jets plus 9.5? I would probably lean, I don't know, man. I don't think that's work. Khalil Mack gets pressure, but the Jets have a bad enough line. The pressure's going to get there anyway. It more pushes me towards the over than anything, because if the Jets can move the ball effectively, I know the Bears can move the ball effectively, and it's a low number. The Bears have been putting up good defensive numbers, or good offensive numbers. Listen, they held the Patriots down. They easily should have beaten the Patriots. They gave up 2 huge plays on special teams, a block punt and a return, and had a bunch of bad interceptions. Could have had more. So I think this could play out a lot like the Colts-Jets games, where Herndon is the number one passing option now. I wouldn't go that far as the number one passing option, but if you're desperately looking for a tight end, Chris Herndon is not the worst play. He's still not even the number one snap guy. I think he ran 7 routes last week, Mark. So number one passing option, definitely runs more than 7 routes, but he is an interesting deep league option at tight end for sure. We talked about the dearth of talent at the tight end position in fantasy this year, and if you really, really need somebody, sure. Alex Smith, MVP, LMFAO, dude ain't the MVP of my wrinkly. Hey, Shawnee Mac, last year Alex Smith was the MVP of the league through 6 weeks. Like, 6 weeks is 6 weeks, but it's undisputable that Alex Smith was the league MVP through 6 weeks last year. Like, we don't even have to debate that. He was a freak. So we're talking about preseason this year, before we knew what the Redskins were going to do. You got Alex Smith looking good in camp. Talk about Jay Gruden turning low quarterbacks into solid picks. I think everyone kind of maybe overvalued Jay Gruden and almost undervalued Kirk Cousins a little bit, because Cousins has been dealing. He's been really strong, especially under pressure, especially now that he's got real wide receiver talent. And guess what? Jay Gruden is supposed to be a quarterbacks guy, and his quarterback sucks. Rodgers or Trubisky? You got to go Rodgers. He's an every week starter. Chris Thompson officially active. Marlon Mack will play. Marlon Mack will play is a big one for me. I picked up Hines in another league just because I don't trust the way Marlon Mack runs if he's banged up. I don't think he'll necessarily finish the game. Big 3rd and 9 for the Eagles that you guys have probably already seen, but I'm going to watch it because, no. Trubisky is a good play. He's got really good rushing upside. He's got 3 straight top 5 QB finishes. Oh my God, Carson Wentz. I really thought he was going to get out of that. Was that Barry Church? Miles Jack. Miles Jack's an NFL football player. Big stop for the Jags as they try to flip this game in the second half. Big stop. Personally, I don't think you can take Rodgers out. This is what you drafted Aaron Rodgers for. If you want to play Trubisky, you trade him, you sign him for a 2-quarterback league, because you drafted Aaron Rodgers and he's going against one of the worst secondaries in football, and he's Aaron freaking Rodgers. So you got to do what you got to do. I know fantasy is a tough game, and the names are sometimes misleading, but the matchup is good for both of them here. Trubisky had a nice game last week because of his massive rushing upside. He still could have a nice rushing day today, but I think it's hard to take Aaron Rodgers out. I really do. Oh, God. Oh, the punter slowed him down. Can't let the punter slow you down in the NFL. That's a good return from D.D. Westbrook. He's an NFL talent, Westbrook. I hope he ends up on the Patriots and dominates, because he's definitely not going to have that kind of career in Jacksonville, and he's just clearly an NFL talent. Another guy that was so good in college and just had a rough start to his NFL career, but, I mean, man, is he good. Really good. He could be a number 1 or number 2 weapon for a playoff team. He's that good. Good block. The punter did definitely slow him down. Anyway, yeah, that Jets-Bears matchup is feeling more and more like a stay away. The more I learn about it, the more I talk about it. Trubisky rushing upside is important because the Jets and Todd Bowles play a lot of man-to-man coverage, and they're terrible at rushing the quarterback. They got one of the lowest sack rates in the league, and when you play man-to-man coverage, you actually turn your back to the quarterback because you're watching the receiver the whole time. So it becomes problematic when you're stopping a running quarterback because you can't generate pressure, so you can't move him around. You're just going to have to try to isolate him in the pocket, and then the D-backs aren't able to react fast enough when he does decide to commit to running the football. So I think the Bears have a tremendous edge in that aspect. Oh, Bortles, get sat. 2nd and 1, take a sack. Really good job. Really good football. Just really good, smart football. That is why Blake Bortles is bad, man. You can't do that. Speaking of taking sacks, I just started watching Last Chance U, the latest season, for the first time. I don't know why I slept on that show for so long. I'm just not a show watcher. I read a lot of articles. I make videos for you guys. I'm on social nonstop. But, man, Last Chance U, that show fucks. Family show. That's a good-ass show. And, they get a lot of access and they get a lot of everything. It's just crazy the grind that football is, man, and what it does to you and what it can do for you, that people are so committed to chasing it. Bortles going to run on 3rd and 8 and he gets it. That's not a great situation. Matt Nagy's dad was Todd Bowles' head coach at Elizabeth High School. Why do you know that? Why do you know that? Why do you know that? Matt Nagy's dad is my dad. I'm Rick Nagy, and this is the check down. Bortles, all he has is running, man. All he has is running. He's so bad. He's running low to the ground though. He's a decent athlete. I just think that the Jaguars are a little bit of doing some blaming on Bortles because it's really not his fault with how bad the line is. But oh my God, he's got dudes running open. That team is built one way and is forced to execute another way, so they get into big problems. Let's go back to the spreads. Let's go back to the gambling. It's what we love. And then we're gonna pick the boom early slate at 11:45, and then we'll do power rankings at nooners. All right, Scott, here we go. Could Tim Tebow do what the Jags are asking Bortles to do? Oh, without question. Tim Tebow would be an outstanding ad for the Jaguars right now. He would do exactly what they need him to do. What? You watch this Jags team, and they're essentially running a Tim Tebow-style offense. Short passes, crossing routes, QB runs, and power offense. Sorry. Playing good defense? 100%. Except Tim Tebow would probably take more deep shots. But he's overthrowing passes over the middle anyway. Do you remember these games, by the way? There was a stretch of NFL football where you would get stats and you would read that Tim Tebow would be 1 for 9 through the first 3 quarters of a football game, and then he would finish the game like 7 for 11 for 2 touchdowns, and the Broncos would win. It would be outrageous what Tim Tebow would do in the fourth quarter. That whole era made no bleeping sense. It really didn't. It made no sense. The alerts that used to go out, the stats that used to go out for what Tim Tebow would do through 3 quarters, it was mind-blowing, honestly. You'll have a hard time believing it. In today's day of 400-yard passers and 5 touchdown performances and franchise QBs on nearly every team except the Giants, the fact that the Broncos were able to get a win streak going, win multiple games, and their quarterback was just so bad through the beginning of every game, just bailed out by defense and big play after big play, freak play after freak play, and just being having a really good kicker. Do you remember when they had a kicker? They had an SNL skit where Jesus came and was like, bless the Broncos. He was like, you're my team. I side with you. And then he went to the kicker and he was like, Prater. Prater was a kicker at the time. He was like, Prater, you're my guy. He was like, I pray to you. I thought that was the best joke of the whole skit, as borderline offensive as it was. So this is what we got so far. Scott wanted to know our plus 35,000 parlay that I'm not super subscribing to. But, teaser option. As you can see, it's pretty lucrative. 1 cent to win 35 cents. So let's just put 100 on it to win a bus driver's salary. 35 Gizos. 44.5 under in the Panthers game. This is the one I worry about the most. It just feels like that kind of game with the Ravens defense, and then the Panthers defense is going to want to step up to match the intensity of the Ravens defense, and I think that that's a good recipe for the under, but this could have 24 points at the half and be completely screwed. Steelers, if they don't turn the ball over 5 times like they did in the first meeting, they should be fine with this number. The Chiefs, I worry about this number as much as any of the numbers, even though it is the Chiefs. Moneyline would really take this down to like 20,000, and we don't want to lose that. We don't want to lose 10 grand here. I do like the Lions today. I am fine with this number. Obviously, see a world where the Seahawks can win this game, but I just think that the Lions are rolling and have great balance, and the way the Lions have stymied running quarterbacks so far this year, let me show you something. We have such viewers bias about the Lions right now. Like, the Lions got blown out Monday night, the first week of the season, and that's how we picture them, right? And then they lost to Jimmy G. Shawnee Mac. I didn't boycott my own show. Look at this though. The Jets blew out the Lions. Khalil Mack's never been inactive in his NFL career before. That's actually pretty lucrative. I feel like I'm having an aneurysm. Jets blew out the Lions on Monday night. Pass defense exposed. First game of the year. First game of the year. Then Jimmy G lights him up. First road game of the year. Since then, slapped the Patriots on Monday night. They lost on a walk-off field goal to the Cowboys on the road. Big game from Zeke. Their run defense is sus. But against teams that have struggled running the ball, the Lions and the Dolphins, or the Packers and the Dolphins, they blew out the Packers. That score is misleading. I'm a Giants fan. Lions manhandled the Dolphins. My only issue here is that what I'm describing to you is a situation where teams that run the ball consistently, like the Cowboys, have their greatest chance of success against the Lions, and that is the Seahawks. They run the ball almost more than any team in the league right now. But I do think that we are sleeping a little bit on the quality of this Lions team. What's up with the Cardinal shirt? Oh, Joel. Rosen, baby. We're repping our boy. Woo! It's all about the franchise, man. I am a Giants fan. I'm a fan, however, of any franchise quarterback with the same last name as me. That's never going to happen again in my lifetime. So this is a Josh Rosen supporters shirt. This has very little to do with the Cardinals, although I am betting on them today. All 4 Seattle running backs are active today. Arsenal finished in a 2-2 draw. That's super fucked. Barcelona's already up 1-0 on Real Madrid in El Clasico. Yeah, no, it's a big time. My mom's also living in Arizona, so I've been pulling for the Cardinals as like a West Coast vibe, but it's a full Josh Rosen supporter shirt. Coutinho scored for Barcelona. Arsenal messed up my parlay. Thanks a lot, Mike. We're continuing to browse here. We're about to get a notification to flood the Boom chat with users as we prepare for the early slate. I would have do the same, but I doubt there'll be any Peases unless it's legit family. No, I totally understand, dude. Imagine if it was like Isaiah Peed. Remember that third string running back? The fact is, even if this were if there were an offensive tackle named Rosen, I probably wouldn't be this aggressive with it, but it's like literally a franchise starting quarterback that hopefully has a long career in the league. So for me, I just know that the numbers on this opportunity are so slim. So we just had to make this move. Ooh, we're heading into the second hour at noon. We're going to do power rankings. They are based on the big video game that everyone is out playing right now. My initial thoughts, a little gaming stuff. I've thought about doing some gaming streams. We played a little Overwatch during the 24-hour fantasy stream, if y'all remember. But I think it's important, to branch into all forms of alternative media. Let me know if you would watch me play video games on the Boom Fantasy chat, because it's something that I would be interested in doing, like maybe some Friday night gaming. This is a big third down as the Jaguars go into the end zone, looking to take the lead for the first time here in the fourth quarter. Again, I hate it. We are on Eagles -3, but we'll see what they do here. Shotgun set to give Bortles time. The pressure is finally getting home, but Bortles on the run, ball's out. That's going to be 4th and 10. So we're going to go into 15-17. That means the Eagles are not covering for the first time since the mid-second quarter. We hate it. I'd ask for a refund from Boom if you started gaming. Oh, that's not very nice. Sorry, I have something I gotta deal with. Sorry. Dead air's a mother. Did he miss that? Nah. The Jaguars kicker has been locked. It's been pretty crazy. Oh, Palace had 2 shots on goal. Crystal Palace had 2 shots on goal, and they're both penalties, and they were both goals. Really bad. That's actually a bad beat to start the day. Wow, that sucks. I bet on soccer. Yeah, I bet on soccer. It happened. Sorry, we got a boom thing I got to send along. Um, Sorry, guys. Sorry. Dead air is the worst, man. But we got to do stuff for Boom. We got to get right. We got an hour till kickoff. Uh, Things happen, you know? But yeah. So that Bears Jets line is pretty interesting. I would say my favorite things today are probably the Colts and the Bengals. Though I mean the Bucks defense is not getting better. So when we think about that matchup, the Bengals, that line is so heavily influenced by uh heavily influenced by that blowout. Sorry, dead air, man. Dead air, man. It is dead air. Sorry. It is real. We got a boom thing, and the boom thing needs to get corrected. I gotta send it up the ladder, and it's I only got so many phones, and I'm doing the late stream because I spent the morning watching football like everybody else did. So my 3 favorite games of the day. I'm not saying parlay these games, but my 3 favorite games of today. I do think the Vikings tonight is a great play, but I hesitate from making it one of my 3 because it is the night game, and I'm just always shipping a lot of money on the night game because it's the last football game of the day, and I'm trying to stack that cheddar. But I think the Bengals line is a little broken. The Bengals offense is not bad. They had a bad night in prime time. They're going to bounce back at home against a Tampa team that just keeps losing important defensive players. The latest one is linebacker Quan Alexander, who tore his ACL. So a really good Joe Mixon game is probably coming. I also like the Colts. The Colts aired out. The Raiders do not. Pace is on the side of the Colts, and talent on offense also sides with the Colts in that one. The Raiders just feel talent deficient right now. I guess that's why they have 2 extra first round picks in the next draft. They just feel like they don't have as many players as everybody else. That's my number 2. And I also really like the Cardinals at home today. Again, just the fact that Byron Leftwich is going to be the OC calling plays makes me feel a billion times better about, how funny is it that I've been sitting here telling you the Cardinals just love to bang David Johnson up the middle and it's killing you, and then that's all Twitter wanted to talk about when the Cardinals were in prime time. Like, how can you continuously just bang David Johnson up the middle, fully knowing what the results will be? So, was that a deep pass for the Eagles? Oh, we heart it. Carson Wentz is that dude. You just say goodwill. Goodwill instead of... The total in Jets Bears is down to 41-5 after opening at 46. That's due to the Khalil Mack situation, I guess. Listen, I'm tempted to hit the over now. It's super low. 41 for an NFL game just feels like it warrants adjustment. Let's read Shawnee Mack's paragraph in an English accent. It's becoming one of my favorite segments of the day so far. Goodwill is going to change NFL to GFL, Global Football League. Watch him take your teams to rich cities overseas where people shell out money to support a sports team. I hope the Buccaneers get relocated to India and Tampa Bay crumbles into the ocean. That seems really mean-spirited, Shawnee Mack. But, I just think the travel makes that an unrealistic situation. Wow, look, the Eagles calling a short yardage play on a short yardage situation. It's almost like they know how to play football, and the Jags don't. Bow, bow, bow. I understand what you think Goodell wants to do, but I do think that having a team in Mexico is the right move, and I do think having a team in London could be good. For me, the fact that Hawaii plays a full college football schedule lets me know that this is a feasible option. When you think about it, right? Really think about it. Really think about it. Hawaii plays a full regulation college football schedule. Big run for the Eagles. Under is in jeopardy. Under in jeopardy. So if Hawaii can go all over the place, granted, they don't leave the West Coast really, but that's fine. We can do that with a London team and the East Coast. The hard part is when you send the Chargers to London. That sucks, right? Send Miami, send New York, send Pittsburgh, send everything on this side of the Mississippi over to London to play one game and then have them do a 3-game road trip, have them come back and take their bye. It's not so unrealistic. The problem is that soccer's always going to dominate. Always going to dominate. And the London team just feels disconnected. It just feels like it's an other. Like it's not a part of the league. It's hard. What if London plays in the Super Bowl? You're going to get people flying from London to see their team in the Super Bowl? No way. Yeah, you have to schedule a bye week after the travel to London. You have to stagger every single team that travels there's bye week. It's a tough situation, man. It's a tough situation. And for a team in London for a team to embrace that, to embrace having to compete with soccer media every weekend, having to adjust. Listen, these are human beings. Like, living in London is not for everybody. They can't drive to Indian, but they have airports for airplanes. Nobody drives anywhere in the NFL, my guy. What do you think this is? I'm just saying you have to schedule so many bye weeks. You have to make so many schedule adjustments rather than it is for Jacksonville. What if the Cardinals play the London team? And then what about the playoffs? You can't do bye weeks in the playoffs. What if the London team gets home field advantage in the playoffs? That's the ideal nightmare scenario. Because if you go as a lower seed to play the number 1 London team, win, you got to play another road playoff game the next week. Touchdown, Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz, TE1. Zach Ertz, TE1. Super Bowl would sell out if the game was in Baghdad. What's up, Riley? Thanks for popping in, hanging out. We're talking about a team moving to London and how that would work. Shawnee Mack wants a global football league with teams in Baghdad and India. Feel free to tell him he's wrong and it's a bad idea. But I do think if you were going to move football teams, it'd be easy to find out which teams you were going to move. Like the Chargers and Jaguars can be put anywhere. Anywhere. But I do think we should put a team in Mexico City. I think that's the easiest transition to make to get a global league. You start with the countries that are closest. You don't start with India. That makes things impossible. So it's a good look. What's going on, everyone who's just popping in from a push notification? It's an abbreviated check down. You see the logos at the bottom. Boombox. Boom Messages. Go to your profile in the top right of your Boom homepage and go to your envelope icon to see if you have a message from me to do our Boom user survey. We're trying to learn here. We're trying to learn more about Boom users, what they like, what they don't like. I know what the Boom likes. And tell me I'm pretty. But other than that, we're going to do our power rankings in about 5 minutes. And then we're going to look at our player props. We're going to try to put a nice parlay together. I am not committed to some of my picks right now. I have no problem waffling as the picks come in, as we continue to narrow down our options for this early slate of games. Yeet Street, we're moving right along. I don't have a ton to say. Oh, ouch. So yeah, we have a couple of... right now we're sitting on a plus 30,000 parlay. If you can see this in the top right. This is what we're working on. A 9-team parlay at plus 36,000. But I do believe we're going to whittle this down a little bit. And... just make it fair for the people. The people can get in. But if you've missed what's in it, it's Ravens Panthers under. This is my lowest confidence play. Then Pittsburgh -8. This is a decently confident. So Chiefs Steelers is a pair of games that is just begging to get teased together. And I am anti-tease 2018. We're team no tease 2018, and yet we have been teasing pretty much every week to moderate success. But Steelers, Chiefs, those numbers just feel a little too high. If we could get those down to like 2.5, if we could get those games to 2.5, wouldn't you feel incredible about those games? So I wonder, oh yeah, we got a tease here. 2.5, 2.5, 2.5. We tease everything by 6 points, and we still get plus 2,000. I love that. Vikings +1, Cardinals +2, over 50. Oh, here they are. Vikings +7, Cards +7.5, Rams Packers over 51, Colts +3, Bengals +2.5, Lions +3, Chiefs and Steelers -2.5, and Ravens Panthers under 50. For plus 2,000, that doesn't seem too bad at all. Those are all things that I'm highly encouraged by. I guess my new least favorite thing would still be this Ravens Panthers game, but I also think that my new most dangerous now becomes this Colts game. I think I don't know. I love this board right now. This +6 tease to get plus 20,000 odds just feels like a really good bet. It just feels like it lines up good. The pitch at Wembley is going to be a mess tomorrow for Spurs Man City. I agree. I'm not worried about it. I'm not a big pitch condition guy. I mean, Spurs really need that game, but it is what it is. They'll find a way to blow it. Goodell is concerned about slightly consequential random bye week occurrences overtaking the NFL global. Nah, I just think that the microscope is higher on player safety than it's ever been. We've never cared or acted like we care this much about the health of the players. And I think that shows in the overall league decision-making process through the last couple years when it comes to bye week. Like, I think we are moving towards a longer schedule with an extra bye week. Teams getting 2 bye weeks, it would just be massive for player health. I feel like it hurts for fantasy, but you are getting an extra game you're getting an extra week of the regular season. You're just getting less games, which is kind of frustrating. But I do think that overall, the player safety has to be the most important. India might have 2 to 3 teams with 1 billion people. Their population just... Well, hold on, Shawnee Mac. That's not really that nice, because that's been happening It didn't just happen. That's rude. It's always been a densely populated region with areas of ruralness, just like the United States. They're not so different from us. That's not that very nice. So you remove a preseason game and build in an extra bye. Yeah, pretty much. You don't even really need to build in an extra preseason game. You just make everything longer. Nobody's going to complain about an extra week to the season for sure. That's just reality. India might have 2 to 3 teams with I just don't think that's... I get what you're saying, but you don't want to do it by population. You want to do it for actual football enthusiasm. India's a big cricket nation. Cricket playing nation. You got to get regions that are already massively influenced by American culture. Like Russia. Germany has American football played sometimes. Hold on, I got to clear my nose. All right, I gotta breathe, man. It's the winter time when you wake up a little congested. All right, let's go through this power rankings, and let's do the boom early slate, and let's get an Eagles turnover. How about? So, I'm a gamer. I like to play video games, and I want to talk to you about that new game that came out, because everyone's gonna be like, "Did you play it? Did you play it? How is it?" And I just want to get out my thoughts on Red Dead, because this is my show. And I can talk about video games literally as much as I want, and there's nothing you can do about it. So these are my top 5 opinions on Red Dead Redemption 2, the new cowboy game that just came out that's going to sell 1 billion copies. Third down for Bortles, wheel route. When are teams going to cover the wheel route? TJ Yeldon into scoring territory. That's so bad. We'll take 24-18, by the way. We will take that. When are they going to cover the wheel route? First thing is I will never finish this. The scope of this game is so massive between the challenges and the animals and the collectibles and the missions and going from town to town. It's just overwhelming in its scope and its size. And it's impressive, but it's also a little bit depressing in that, like, I'll never fully experience all that this game has to offer. It is just insane. It's like living in it. Bortles on the run inside the 20. Don't throw the flag. Don't throw the flag. Don't throw the flag. They threw the flag on contact. Number 4 is this is a movie. I really feel like it's as close to art, a cinematic experience, as a video game's ever got. If there was somebody in my house, I'd be like, hey, come next to me. But they can't find places to poop. Oh, come on, Shawnee Mac. Get out of here. Shawnee Mac, you're going to get banned today for that kind of stuff. That's unbelievable. It is a cinematic experience. It's the craziest thing to a movie. Next thing is that I got to ride a horse. I'm used to driving cars in games, but horse travel, it is a little therapeutic in its nature, but, you know, they're really trying to get me to soak in the scenery instead of, like, just traveling around. Like, the game is beautiful, but I just think, like, sometimes I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to do a lot of this horse traveling, and it could be a little faster, but, like, horse stamina is a thing. You gotta pay attention to your horse and take care of it, but it's an experience. It's not just like traveling. It's not just like driving. Bortles on the run to the 6, 2nd and goal. 2, it really is a surreal experience. I gotta explain how beautiful this game is to you, and just how you can interact with everyone, and everything has this beautiful narrative, and there's just so much dialogue. And as someone that doesn't watch a lot of TV or movies, this is just as good as a living, breathing world as I've seen in a game. 2nd and goal, Bortles under pressure over the middle in the ground. And number 1 is GTA on a horse. If you want an explanation of this game, it is Grand Theft Auto on a horse. You can rob people, you commit crimes, you have to amass wealth, and a lot of item stuff, a lot of adjustments, a lot of customization, playing the game the way you want to play it, whether you want to be a bad guy or a good guy, and people will react to you appropriately in society. It's just insane. I recommend it. But if you don't have a lot of time like I do, I'm regretting the purchase personally because I know it's going to take... Like, I want to play it instead of watch the 1 p.m. games. That's messed up. Bortles, end zone, touchdown! No! Is that Dante Moncrief? Oh, it's Chark. Baby Chark. Do. Baby Chark. So that's how I feel about Red Dead. If you have a lot of time, if you're in college and you're killing time during the day, definitely pick this up. Once online opens, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff you could do with your friends, riding around on horses. I do agree that having a gang with my friends is fun, but right now I'm just not fully appreciating the it's a giant world that they've created. So props to Rockstar, and not props to me for not being able to fully dedicate time and passion to that game. Now that everybody's left, because we've talked about video games, let's get into gambling again. As we get that huge red zone stop. We love that for the Eagles. -3 loves that. Under 54.5 is what I'm on. So laters, Rick. Gotta go. Good show. Oh, it's wing time for Pilo Dilo. Is it that is it that weekly part of the show when we talk about how good wings are and we don't get enough wings? Because I feel it. Last week we were crushing bets, so I didn't eat my feelings, but I was able to get some wing-esque hot chicken food, but I'm not trying to order too many wings if I'm having a good gambling day, because wings, I need to just like really just not care and just like eat the feelings big time. But when it comes to having a good gambling day, being up a couple $100, I don't feel the need to engorge. I feel like loving myself a little bit instead of hating myself. It is what it is. Let's do some props. Trubisky against the Jets. I'm sure there's some good stuff to find. Let's dig in and start there with our Propadopolises. What do you got for Trubisky? Passing yards, we hate it. Rushing yards, 26.5. We kind of like it. No touchdown passes. We got Trubisky to throw for a touchdown. Nope. No touchdown props. If you can... Okay, I'm being over the top, but what I say has some truth to it without coming from a racial, cultural high horse at all. I mean, you are coming from a racial cultural high horse, so get over it. There's just a lot of, oh, Riley, you like it. Riley, if you're on Xbox, let me know what your gamer tag is so we can group up when online comes out. We'll do some robberies. I get why they're not doing online for the first couple of weeks, but if you have Red Dead, let me know what your Xbox name is in the chat, and I will post my Xbox name. Shawnee Mack, thank you for being enlightening, if not slightly offensive. We really appreciate your cultural contributions to the show. I like you better when you're preaching Kirk Cousins rushing touchdowns than maligning what's wrong with Indian culture. But I always appreciate your patronage. Let's look at Saquon Barkley catches. He could have a really nice game. As we check more messages coming in out the gate. I like Saquon catches if we can find it. Saquon Barkley receiving yards, rushing yards, and total yards. But I don't think that they're going to have a great time. What is this? Is this Washington covers or Washington wins? Rush for 75 plus yards and Washington. What is that? Come on, pop up, mini link. If it Washington, well, I guess the spread is 1, so it doesn't matter, but not about it. What about this this Bengals game that we like? We like the Bengals. We know that Tampa can move the ball, but they've gotten really lucky the past couple of weeks, losing the turnover battle, but winning the game, or at least being in contention to win the game. What do we have for Jameis Winston passing yards? Because that's the only way they've moved the ball. 299 is a lot. Oh, Xbox, let's go. What did Jacksonville do? I don't know, but Wentz is on the field. What did Jacksonville do? I missed it. Here, Riley, add me. Riley, I'm putting my gamer tag in the chat. It's way too confident. Bang, add me, bro. Oh, look at the Eagles pound the ball out. Ball's out. They're on it. No. Eagles got it. You're taught to point the wrong way. You're taught to point your way no matter what. Mac, Edelman, or Richard at flex. Mac, then Edelman. We got to give advice on all fronts. Listen, if you're coming at me on Twitter, if you're coming at me on fumble. Had you started stream at the regular time, I would have known about the London game and I would have never mentioned India in a million years. It's your fault this happened and you need to take responsibility. This is actually the second cultural racial conversation I've been in this morning. So check this out. This was absolutely absurd. For now. Wait, so let's just talk about what happened. So I have no problem talking about this. I could care less. People are so tight on the internet. You're so tight on the internet. Some people have gone from I want to be anonymous and I want to shit on everybody family show to I want to be fully transparent and make sure that people who are doing bad on the internet get their comeuppance. And I want to be an advocate for social change on the internet. There's no middle ground between the two, and there's no sick, dude. Just add me when I get to my Xbox. I'll accept that request. There's no right or wrong in this situation. It just becomes a tiring place at either end where you're trying to insult everybody, get everybody fired. It's just not the place for that. It's a place for free expression of ideas, and that's why social media exists. So let me show you something. This was so funny. I'm trying to find my Twitter. The Rick Rosen. So basically what happened is Steve Smith was doing pregame on NFL. Steve Smith was doing pregame Here it is. Steve Smith just ragged on a Jags cornerback for being blatantly white. The Jaguars are down 6 defensive backs, right? So Steve Smith noticed a white Jaguars defensive back and was like, he wouldn't be playing if they didn't have all those injuries, which is true. Is it mildly offensive? Yes. Is it enough to go to go out and attack Steve Smith for it? Absolutely not. Do you think Steve Smith has earned the right to say things on television? Absolutely. Does Steve Smith have a filter? Not at all. Has Steve Smith said worse things on TV? Probably. Do we love him for it? Absolutely. So James from Wisconsin is getting mad at white people getting dirted on television. So sorry it's coming back around, James. And then we get this. We get, this guy deleted it? He deleted his comment. So we had a guy at Vikes fan tag and Viking Fresh. Here, why don't we have the Viking Fresh comment? Oh, account suspended. Oh, did I get somebody suspended from Twitter today? Oh shit. Oh shit. So this happened. So this guy tagged NFL Network. No response, no critical thought, no analysis, just, I want to get Steve Smith in trouble. Steve Smith said a bad thing on NFL Network, so I'm tagging NFL Network, which is just a spineless thing to do. So I tweeted from my personal account, snitch, because that's what he was doing. He snitched. Doug Marcus realizes he sucks. Someone's asking about Jalen Richard on Twitter, and I feel it's very important to point out that I do think that Doug Martin is going to get the majority of touches. Not representative of Vikes fans. Dude, so he tried to just snitch out. He tried to just at NFL Network. Hey, NFL Network, did you see this? Like, they're not watching what Steve Smith just said live on the air. Like, they don't operate a network that he is a part of. Like, I understand if you were tagging, like, at Verizon. Do you know your employee treated me like this in a store? But Steve Smith is live on NFL Network. NFL Network knows what he said, right? So he goes at me. I call him a snitch. So I called him a snitch. And did I screenshot what he tweeted me? He threatened me in the DMs. Oh yeah, here it is. This is a DM from Vikes fan. Hey, why don't you bleep off or I'll kick your teeth in. You choose. So, you know, taking the civil approach to DMing threats and for being called out on what he actually is. A snitch, right? So you snitch and you get called out for snitching, and now you're going to threaten to kick teeth in. Again, snitches be snitches. But he went a step further. Vikes fan, who, thanks for putting your face up, buddy, because I really wanted to know that you're white. I really couldn't tell. Came at me on the DMs. Oh, that DM is gone too. Sorry for briefly exposing the Boom Fantasy DMs, but he also reached out to the Boom Fantasy social media, which I run, to say, I don't know what you think about your employees calling people snitches for not wanting racist remarks in their lives. He speaks on your behalf. By doing that, it makes me think he's speaking on your company's behalf. Double snitch! Double your snitchness, double your fun. When you snitch 2 times, you snitch for everyone. Just double snitch for your life. Catch Double Snitch. Double Snitch, now on sale in markets everywhere. You gotta be kidding me with the amount of snitchness. My guy, it's not even 10 a.m. and you've already snitched on 2 people. How do you live without so much snitching before brunch? My God, just go to brunch. Don't snitch. Man, you wake up, you get on your shirt, you do your buttons like, I can't wait to snitch on people today. I can't wait to try to end people's professional careers. Yo, get out of here with that nonsense. Listen, we all like to have fun on Twitter. We all like to speak our minds on Twitter, but going over the top to threaten people and then threaten their employees, to alert their employers, dude, that's snitching. That's a whole nother echelon of snitching. I'm just a big fan of people who show their true colors on the internet. Like, oh, woe is me, white people have been insulted. Oh, the struggle white people have gone through. Oh, woe is me. I really don't understand how you could take that phrase unless you're from Wisconsin. where it just feels like the narrative is anti. It just doesn't. Oh, Blake Bortles running on 4th and 1. You guys already know he's got the first because you're ahead of me. But, man, I just got so razzed this morning. And I got somebody's Twitter account suspended for threatening me. That just feels so good. Thank you. Thank you, James. Can I speak to your manager? Yeah, no, it was, I am the manager. It was like literally like, oh, you really went and did that, huh? You really think that you're that important? I'm that important, and what we did was so important. Like, hey, excuse me, I'm trying to get Steve Smith fired here, and your employee is actively preventing me from exposing Steve Smith as a guy with a loose filter. So would it be possible for you please to terminate this employee because I don't like the things he says? Thank you! Man, it feels so good to get Aggie over eggs. I tell you what. Eggs, coffee, and snitch busting. Bring it to my front door, bro. I would do this for free. You could tell Boom whatever you, I love it. I love streaming here. I love giving fantasy football advice. I love correcting people on Twitter. I love getting into arguments where I don't belong and dropping one-word responses that trigger people to the point of violent DM threats. He was so mad that he threatened to kick my teeth in for calling him a snitch. He was snitching! If the snitch snitches and you call him a snitch, why does that have to resort in a threat? So now you don't get to tweet on NFL Sunday. I hope you enjoyed Twitter before you called somebody a snitch. Was it worth it? Let me work it. I put my snitch down, flip it, and reverse it. More batted balls for this Eagles defense. Big 4th and 2. Big 4th and 2. I think the over is about to hit. I think we're 1 point away. Jaguars down 6 in the 4th quarter is a familiar spot, but the Eagles pass rush has to make the difference. Dude, okay, so I won't even get in the face about that because what Steve Smith kind of said is vaguely racist. I mean, you know, racism dictionary definition is discriminating based off of race, right? Or aggression or antagonism based off of race. Incomplete on 4th down. Huge surprise. Carlos Hyde, sure, get him. He'll make a difference. You got 2 yards and you don't give it to him. It's the fact that people being called out for what they're doing is just so offensive. Like, what you're a snitch. Jason Sehorn is that last word, your adjectives are sus, but like, listen, when we make fun of white D-backs and white wide receivers and white running backs all the time because it's not the norm. We're allowed to clown on them. Steve Smith has burned so many corners in his life. He's just calling it like he sees it. Steve Smith is on that show for saying things like that. That's why we want to watch Steve Smith talk. So to be so PC in the morning, not to mention the just the irony of being a white person and saying, hey, you can't, and just oppressing, just being an oppressive white person, just that front-facing irony is just so absurd. Let's do some fantasy questions because I'm getting out of hand. Oh, he's got Shawnee Mack. Shawnee Mack lives on the top rope today. Riley wants to know Mahomes or Big Ben. I personally don't see how you can bench Patrick Mahomes at this point. He's just hot. Roethlisberger, number 2 in the league in passing attempts. He is really good. It is a tough one. I'm leaning Mahomes at home. You know, Roethlisberger with his being the way he is, I don't know. I just think that they're going to want to pound the ball to James Conner, who's been so good in the past couple weeks. They could both have really strong games. It's choosing between the 1 and the 2, Shawnee Mack. You're not Shawnee Mack. Riley, you're truly blessed, Riley. Unless that's a Boom question, Mahomes or Big Ben. Is that the Boom question? I'll go through the Boom slate right now. That's a really good point. You really shouldn't say I was racist. It's just a real-world hyperbole example of how Indians cast systems and work in relation to overpopulation. Culturally insensitive. Oh, no, what you're saying isn't racist. No, what you're saying is fine. Not fine, but it's just like, we're just talking football stuff, and you're just like making social commentary on India. It's just like, we know a football team's not going to be there. We know 2 to 3 football teams aren't going to be there. But yes, we acknowledge that population overcrowding is a problem there. You're just like saying the knowns it's like coming into this chat and be like, hey, you know why Colin Kaepernick doesn't have a job? Because what? Like, yes, we're saying the things. Thank you. Thank you for saying the things that we all know. Like, let's not go through. Did I bang through Making a Murder 2? No, I haven't. So after Making the Murder 1, I got real deep into true crime stuff. And so I actually feel super informed on Making a Murder 2. I've been keeping up to date with Brandon Dassey's post-trial process and his schedule for release and then that appeal, and been trying to keep up to date with that situation. I also think Stephen Avery did it the more I look at season 1 and the events and his behavior and his actions as a person who probably thought they were a little bit invincible at a certain point and owed something at a certain point. Haven't watched the sequel. Started to, fell asleep, but I just started Last Chance U. I don't know if you saw me talk about it at the top. I just started season 3 of Last Chance U, and it's crazy. That coach is not unlike Bobby Dubs, and that team, Malik Henry's sucks. It's just weird. It's just a weird show that is so good. I don't like the music that they use during games because it doesn't accurately represent the momentum or the action taking place in the games. But word, bro, much love to India. Yeah, absolutely. But it just doesn't accurately reflect what's happening in the games. It's weird, but I love it. It's really good. It's fascinating. It's so much access. People have told me in the past, like, yo, watch Last Chance U, Last Chance U, you'll really like it. This has been, really, really good watch for me. It ruined my college football Saturday because I spent the whole early slate and most of the 3:30 games watching it. Then I started playing Red Dead, so just totally killed my Saturday with my Xbox. Chillin'. Let's do the Boom early contest breakdown, Boom early slate breakdown, and then we will make some prop picks, and then we will lock in our gambling picks, and then we will enjoy some good old-fashioned 1 p.m. football. Wow, these Bengals props are jumping out the more I like them, the more I look at them. Mixon and Tyler Boyd pass. Rams and Packers will be a good one. Oh, definitely the best game of the day. I said it, Riley, earlier, but you might have missed it. I wouldn't be surprised if the Rams jump out ahead and then we get some really big. Wow. You get some really big output. If that game starts out with the Rams out in front, I got no problem taking the Packers in the second half and then taking the over in the second half. I think that's an obvious play. Oh my God. Jeez. I got friend drama. Big guys. I missed all your Twitter beef discussion because I was thinking about India. Let's dox him. I can't dox him anymore because I got his account suspended. So it is what it is. Hey, just so you know, if you're watching right now as a Boom user, check your Boom messages. You go to your profile page in the top right corner, click on the envelope icon, see if you got a message from me. And if you do and you haven't responded, call or text me today so we can talk about Boom. I'll put some free money in your account for agreeing to just answer some questions about how you're liking the app, how you're using the app, what we could do better, what you would change, and I'll throw you some money for your time. I miss all your Twitter beef discussion. Yeah, I mean, I got threatened. I didn't threaten anybody, and I got threatened with my physical health and with my occupational health. Somebody tried to assassinate my character because I called them a snitch, which was accurate. Listen, if you see something on social media that you don't like and you go right to mentioning it to that person's employer, you are a snitch. And he did it twice in 5 minutes. So snitch is going snitch. This is not up for, I don't feel bad about anything I did today. I called somebody a snitch. They threatened to kick my teeth in. I reported their account as a threat and harassment, and I got their account suspended. I'm not going to snitch. It's not a snitch move for me because that person tagged their location in New York, New Jersey. And I don't need to get beaten up on the street for just being a fantasy football dude by some guy with less than 150 Twitter followers just tweeting. tagging employers and snitching. And snitching. He's already ready to snitch. Who knows what he's capable of, you know? All right, let's do the boom early slate. We're doing the $1 million contest. Woo! It's 8 questions to win $1 million for the early slate only. I hope y'all ready for this. We did have a Super Cinco winner on Thursday. We had somebody turn 99 cents into $1,300 and change. It was awesome. It happened on the end of the game garbage time drive, right? It happened in the last seconds. Osweiler needed 20 yards to tie Watson, and he got 22 yards on the final drive. It was 3 garbage time plays. It was a 3-score game, and the Dolphins called 3 pass plays. One of them gave Vika the exact receiving yards total for Amendola, and one of them put Osweiler over the yardage total over Watson, who threw 5 totes but didn't have more passing yards by 2. Crazy, crazy end to the boom jackpot sweats. All right, boys. $1 million jackpot, week 8 early slate. Don't have graphics this week, but I have it up on my too bright phone. So let's do it. First question. Take these down and, you learn something today. And hopefully we'll make you some money. Roethlisberger versus Mahomes. It's a tough matchup. But what I expect is a lot of ground game from Kansas City, Denver, because that's how the Broncos wanted to play it. And Kareem Hunt had his major resurgence against the Broncos in their first meeting. He's been a bigger factor in the offense over the last month of the season. And the Chiefs defense has been much better at home than on the road. So I submit that the Broncos will not be able to keep pace, and they won't be able to run. And that means that the Chiefs will be able to run and eat the clock and win this game handily. So give me Roethlisberger in a shootout, pushing the tempo. I'm worried about the Browns offense keeping pace in that game in a similar situation, but Roethlisberger has so many more attempts than Mahomes that I'm willing to stake my claim in him, especially home splits Roethlisberger. We all know that's the preferred option. Question 2, more rushing yards, and I'm going to go with Joe Mixon here. Tampa is a pretty loose up front. They've lost a third defensive starter for the 3rd straight week. They're now down 2 linemen and 2 linebackers. Joe Mixon, all-purpose monster, number 1 guy. Saquon Barkley facing a really tough interior rush defense of Washington. Kerryon Johnson also, I think, will have a strong game, but I'm not 100% sure about his workload there. I got to respond to a Twitter guy, and I'm going to go with Joe Mixon there, and that's a solid matchup for the Bengals today in a get-right game after getting blown out by the Chiefs last week. Most receiving yards, Juju, Tyreek, Odell, and Golden Tate. I like Odell here. Golden Tate has a revenge game, but the Lions' passing volume is down, and Tate didn't have a good game last time they played that team. Take a chance, or Mozart or Ingram? Ingram, not close. Mozart or Ingram. Come on, guys. We know what we're doing here. Do I have anything going on in YouTube? Nope, that's fine. Sorry. So I like Odell here. Odell's actually top 5 in the league in targets and air yards, and I do think that some things worked for the Giants late in the Philly game that or the Atlanta game that they will be able to carry over into this one, because Washington has had trouble with coverage. Josh Norman has struggled. They got lit up by the Saints a couple weeks ago, and then the Cowboys were ineffective as they've been through the air. So I got no problem. Stafford, sorry. Let's go to the next question. I'm effectively doing 3 things at once right now. Not effectively. I just am. Most receptions, Evans, Landry, Kelsey, and Crabtree. This is a big Travis Kelsey game. The Broncos sold out to protect against Tyreek Hill in the first matchup. It ended up with a lot of underneath work in the intermediate zones for Travis Kelsey, as the Broncos safeties were forced to back off to deal with the streaking Tyreek. So I like Kelsey here. Landry, also another strong contender. It's receptions, not yards. So Landry working the underneath, working in the slot. By far the most talented receiver on the Browns, who've had a big problem with drops. I just think their offense is going to really struggle today against that Steelers blitz. Baker struggles against the blitz. We talked about that. And sorry. Um, Oh, so many things to do right now. Yeah, give me Kelsey, and let's not think twice about that one. Question 5, most total touchdowns. This is another really tough one. I would lean Emmanuel Sanders, but that's a tough one because you're really only looking for one touchdown to bring us home. And so let's go with Kenny G's had really, really close calls and touchdowns called back from penalties. Man, I'm just so happy that this dude got his account suspended. Sorry for dead airing. I have like 2 group chats blowing up, one with gambling picks, one with friend drama that I just live for at this point in time. So forgive me on this total touchdowns question. It is difficult. I'm going to go Golladay because he's the only one of the 4 that is a legitimate red zone threat, and that's going to increase his upside. But I do think one touchdown can win that contest. Question 6, most passing touchdowns. We're obviously going Andy Dalton against that defense, but don't count out Mitchell Trubisky. The only reason I'm going Dalton over Trubisky is Mitchell Trubisky's rushing upside. I feel like if you're 5 yards out, Trubisky has a much better chance of tucking than Red Rifle would like to sling it. Good games for Boyd and AJ Green today. Same thing with Stafford and Russell. They're more likely to run the ball either themselves or handing it off. AJ Green receiving yards. This is a nice matchup for Green. Tampa, worst secondary ever. They've been dusted by everybody. So give me about 126 for AJ Green. Again, he had a 100-yard first half against the Chiefs and then went completely radio silent. Oh my God. Dude, it's blowing up. Oh, man. All right. I'm sorry. I'm moving it out. We got one question left. Struggle bus. Antonio Brown, Denzel Ward. The last game against the Browns, he had an okay afternoon. Give me 98 for AB. Doesn't get to 100. Juju's there. Connor's there. There's just too many weapons for me to just outright pick Antonio Brown to go off. Crickets were the star of the show today. Oh, my God. C-Sev, I missed your question. Sevi. Oh, Edelman, Rudolph, John Brown, or Taylor Gabriel. I'm so sorry. I totally missed that one. 0.5 PPR. Rudolph. No Rudolph. John Brown, Taylor Gabriel, Edelman in that order. Not so big on Gabriel, but he is the upside where Edelman is not. Edelman doesn't have nearly the same upside that Taylor Gabriel has, so we have to go with the ceiling play. I mean, Edelman might score more than Gabriel, but he is not going to get 2 totes the way Gabriel will. Thank you, Mark, for pointing out the Crickets were the star of the show today. We were on late, we spoke less, but we did more, and that's what's super important. Wentz got me 27 points, and I benched him. Nobody told you to do that. The Jaguars' defense has been big problems the past couple weeks. What's going on in that game? It's been a minute since I flipped over. Sorry, guys. Super late on that. But the Boom Early Slate is out there. $4 to win $1 million, $3 to win $100,000. The progressive jackpot is climbing. I still think that high roller jackpot is the best thing to do ever. $20 to win $2,000 for only 4 questions. I just think that that's such a winnable play if you're sharp with how you do your research. I just think that that's a good move. $20 to enter is steep, but you have people turning $1 into 100 3 times a week, it seems, with NBA. So for you to look at that mighty high roller and see it as unwinnable, I think it's a silly play. Trying to nuke someone's career is what you do as a miserable, insecure psychopath. I want to dump a beer on this guy and his fat, smelly girlfriend. Well, I was agreeing with you until you took it to violence. I just want the best for him. I want that guy to lie in bed at night and be like, God, that really wasn't my best character move. That's all I want, personally. I just want him to realize that what he did is stupid. Like, defending and exacerbating Steve Smith making fun of a white corner for being white and not, like, the Jaguars have one of the best secondaries in football. If you see a random white dude out there, they're having problems. That's why it's funny. We make jokes. Bill Simmons used to joke about whitewash all the time, where it's like a college basketball team plays 5 white guys Oh, we ended that game 24-18. Oh, smash it, yo. Way to go, Yaz. Good hit. We got that under. We got that spread bet. We got that first half under. What a great way to start the game, start the day. So now I have Chiefs at a pick'em to end the day, to get me back right. That's really nice. We got to make some heavy bets here. Keenum or Cam? It's got to be Cam. I know it's a tough defense, but his rushing upside the way it is, I just don't. Listen, you can go Keenum if you want. Live by Cam, die by Scam is how I'd rather play it. It's just a tough argument to make that Case Keenum should be in there. The Chiefs defense has been much better at home. They're getting more takeaways. They're allowing only 17 points per game. They completely shut down the Bengals in the second half. Totally neutralized them. Made them one-dimensional. These hiccups came out of nowhere to absolutely devastate me in the final 20 minutes. Shred time. I want the same thing as you, Rick. It would be great if you came to that realization right as I empty a crisp, cool, and refreshing 32-ounce Miller High Life on his noggin. You full savage. I've never had beer dumped on me. I have had beer lightly tossed in my direction. I've never been purposely showered with beer in the name of a championship or a fight confrontation. I assume it would be sticky. 32 ounces, man. If you're at a stadium, that's a $16 insult, man. That is expensive. But it is High Life, you know, so at least he knows that you're Shawnee Mac made of money. So it's technically 64 ounces if you're pouring it on his girlfriend too. If you're new to the show and you're not understanding, someone called me out today for calling them a snitch. I got double snitched on. So it's disrespectful to be showered with beer, but it's always with respect if you're showered with champagne. I think you're using the verb shower a little too loosely, because dumping a beer on somebody's head is not the same as showering them with beer. The verb shower correlates to shower head, where it is a spray formation for your dispersal. Pouring a beer on someone's head is a legitimate insult, and it is funny. That's all I got to say about that. It is always funny. The dude that threw the beer at the Oakland A's fan in the wild card game, that was harassment. That was wrong. That was funny. I'm sorry. It was funny. It's funny. Not as funny as slapping it out of their hand. I still think the funniest thing ever is when somebody is disrespectful as the champagne of beers. Again, it's the verb shower that I think we're disagreeing on. The interpretation of showering is this. This is not showering. We don't use a well water in a bucket to shower anymore, right? There has to be some sort of spray diffusion of liquid, and that's what the pressure does when you shower with champagne. They don't call it a Miller High Life campaign. You know, it doesn't sound as good. I'm on a Miller High Life campaign. Listen, I get it. I get what we're saying. Keep pantomiming showering. I'm out here, buddy. I'm out here. Breaking down the things that matter. This is what you wanted. This is what the London game does to us. Let's look at a few more player props before we kick off these 1 o'clock games, and I'm about to throw in a bunch of bets that I don't necessarily agree with. If I don't make bets by the time I get on the air, they become a mess, and we are steaming towards mess territory. Joe Mixon total yards. Why are these all 40 yards ahead of what the Athletics pick was 80 all-purpose yards. Where did you get 80 all-purpose yards, Anita Marks? Anita Marks, where are you getting these props from? Tyler Boyd, 55 yards. He's at 70. She's off 15 to 20 yards on every prop in this article. Listen, Anita Marks. I'm leaving a negative review. Um, I'll put my name on it. I'll put my name on a negative comment. Do you know if anyone has ever won the million jackpot? I know for a fact that nobody has won the million jackpot because we would have a big announcement. We would have a parade. We would make additional videos. You would definitely know about it. There's a reason that when you go to our Twitter, the first page is Chmuk because that is one of our biggest ever jackpot winners. That night when Chmuk won over $30,000, he nearly won more than that. He would have won the $100,000, I believe, with the exact same entry and paying $1 more in entry fees. But we've never had anybody win 5 figures, which is $100,000 or more. It's never happened. Wow. So the props that I liked that Anita Marks showed me are all not applicable because they're all 20 yards off. I secretly think that's hilarious. At the same time, that's super disappointing. I'd be mad if I was the Athletic. My 10-team parlay is up to $70,000, guys, because we added Mitchell Trubisky 26.5 rushing yards. We're up to 10 cents to win $1 to win $700. So that's a pretty good look, y'all. Oh my God. We got going at each other in the chat. I'm so sorry for derailing myself here today. Oh my God. Uh, uh, bu- 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 Great job, great job, great job. I'm looking for tweets. I'm looking for pics. Over in the Giants game, I don't mind it, but I'm a little nervous. Let's ride out with some picks. It's 14 minutes left to go. I gotta play the theme song. Let's play the theme song. I gotta recalibrate. The hiccups threw me off. I'm not gonna lie. We don't have any segments today. Shawnee Mac still getting after it. Shawnee Mac. Shawnee Mac does need Pornhub.com/Shawnee Mac on a custom jersey ASAP. If I ever get arrested or fired, I want it to be because I retaliated towards someone who threatened mine or a friend's job. If you're going to take my job or get my employee to fire me, I'm going to make sure something stupid happens to you. Well, I got his Twitter account taken away. Let's wind it down. I'll be the Boom App's worst enemy. Oh, wow. I really got to get engineering to make it so you can like chat room comments. Let's go. Let's put in gambling picks, y'all. Lane Johnson injured MCL. Fuck him. I'm putting in a big tease. We love it. We love it. We love it. Then we hate it. Michael Irvin looks out of place in that press box. I like the 4-man booth though. I think it needs time. The NBA does the players only, where just the players talk about the game and it's a little bit looser. I love that. I think it needed time, and it's better than it ever was. I just think that some players need to get a feel for the rhythm of what to say, when to say it, how much time you have to make a statement and analysis, what is relevant, what is entertaining. These are all things that Jason Witten struggles with. Jason Witten should be doing SEC games for a season, please. He wasn't ready. It's not fair that you made Joe Tessitore do Big Ten football for 19 years before you give him NFL games, and he still does boxing on the side. And Jason Witten comes out of the NFL and into the Monday Night Booth, the pinnacle of football sports entertainment. It's ridiculous. There will be court proceedings. I'd love to have a... Don't play... I'm screenshotting all this stuff, Shawnee Mac. Thank you. Screenshots, legal proceedings. Thank you, sir. I love to have a camera. Did you hear about the Jaguars? That's one of the reasons I was so heavy. Dude, I should have laid on the Jaguars this morning. I like them way more than my bets reflect. But good God, the Jaguars. Good God. They walked out on a bar tab last night. They were like, yeah, we'll pay it later. You can't walk out on a bar tab. You're in London. You're only in London for the weekend. And they just walked out. Like, hey, no, we're the home football team. We're the home football team. First of all, okay. Why does that cause a scuffle? Why can't the Jaguars just have a team rep with them that is like, yeah, we'll pick it up if they leave without paying the tab? Like, why don't all NFL teams have a cleaner like the Wolf? You know what I mean? Like, why don't NFL teams have that security blanket? That's what I want to know. Shawnee Mac. $60K, right? I heard $40K, but it could have been $40,000, which would be closer to 60,000 pounds. Either way, it's A, ridiculous, B, the night before a game, so it's hilarious, and C, the fact that it caused a brawl is amazing because they're all made of money. There was no poor players in that group. Englanders want the narrative of stupid Americans. Well, you know, England loves their sports drama. Like, I don't know. Here's the thing. It's like, there are no British soap operas. Soccer is their sports opera. Sports opera? Soap opera. The players, the wives, the drinking, the injuries, the managers, these things and their relationships within are so much more important in England than they are in American sports, because it's just much more dramatic. I can't even disagree with that. I mean, do I think they want the narrative? No. Do I think that the England news wants to report that as aggressively as possible? Sure. But I think that that's something that we all could have seen coming, right? Like, that's fine. 17.5 points for the Jets today. Does that feel low to you? It does feel low to me, but I'm staying away. 21 points for the Giants. I don't see it. 27 points for the Lions. I don't really see it. 30 points for the Bengals. I could kind of see it. 26 points for the Colts. I like it. 22 points for the Cardinals. I like it. Here we go. We're looking at some props real quick. As far as the props for the Cleveland Steelers game, nothing is jumping out at me except Roethlisberger over 2 touchdown passes. Or what's Connor total yards? Not on here. Good. Take him out. It's called snitching. Should have been a public relation at all. Could have been financially compensated multiple times over and over. I'm sure the Jags offered it. It's just a clout chase. FB hang out with a lot of Brits. They call American football. Oh, that's so funny. So they do look down on it because we wear pads and body armor. That's fair. They're better athletes than some rugby players. The UK media was snitching, but not paying a 60,000 pound bar tab is absurd. Like, they just went to the nicest place in London and ding dong ditched. What is it? Dine and dashed. Let me know in the chat if you've ever ding dong ditched or dine and dashed. I have done one of those things. I like that the general theme of today's show was snitching. That's important to me. It is what it is, my guys. Philip Lindsay, rushing yards, 70, not the worst. Emmanuel Sanders, 75 receiving yards. I like that. Mahomes, 39 receiving yards. That's really nice. Sorry. Reading, general reading. Travis Kelce, 6 catches. Travis Kelce, 80.5 yards. I would rather take a touchdown prop. I don't see it. Trubisky, rushing yards. We don't have it again. Tariq Cohen, total yards over 70. Not in love with it. Game script leans in Howard's favor. These are all going to go away in a second. Adrian Peterson, rush yards, 71. I like that. Saquon, receiving yards over. I like that. Beckham catches, not crazy about it. Carry on rushing yards. I like that. Tyler Boyd, receiving yards. Where's the Mixon yards? Joe Mixon, rush yards, 77. I'll take that. And where's AJ Green receiving yards? 90? I think I'll have to take that. Which coach's seats are scorching today? Oh, Todd Bowles has to get a good, he's got a good performance today. I'm going to go, my man. See you later. Have a good one. Thanks, Riley. Good luck playing Red Dead, and I'll add you on Xbox when I get the chance. Not that if I leave, but it wasn't on purpose. Bunch of injured and rich guys probably didn't agree. Let's steal. Probably weren't sure. Someone joked it was paid, and they were just ignorant. I'm sure it was just a misunderstanding because they couldn't understand each other's accents. I'm sure that's what it was. I just took so many props. It's stupid. Why did I do that? Phil open parlay. Bengals bought down to 2.5 is going to be my parlay filler. Bought down to 2.5. We love that. Finishing up, guys. Finishing up. You see the parlay. You see what we like. Check your boom messages. It is imperative that you check your boom messages to see if you've got something from me about boom, talking about how we can make the app as good as it could possibly be. How you not catch someone leaving with that tab too. Dude, yeah. So like, I'm sure they tried to stop them. Someone said they paid it. It was just a big cluster. I don't think it's just a bigger example of so it's a bigger story that the Jaguars were at the club than they didn't pay the bill. That's what I think is important to me, at least. It's a much bigger story that they didn't pay the tab than they actually, favorite 3-team 1 p.m. parlay. We're going to do it right now. Favorite 1 p.m. parlay. I like I mean, you can moneyline Chiefs, Steelers, Lions or Bengals. Bengals, Steelers, Chiefs is a moneyline parlay, but it's not going to pay well. If we had to go even, I would do Bengals by a full point. Ravens, Panthers under looks really good, and sorry, I like the Giants at home, but I'm a little untrustworthy. But I'm going to do it because I have absolutely no shame in myself. I don't think it's the best thing on the board, but I think it's winnable. I think the Giants at home are a decent play. They're just going to rally. They're going to rally. And then in the afternoon, I love the Packers-Rams over. I love the Cardinals, and I love the Colts. I think it's easier to get onto the one time I stole gas. Way to go, Shawnee Mac. One time I paid 1 cent less than I was supposed to. I didn't have a penny, and I got in the car, and my dad was like, "You just stole." And I was like, "Nah." And he was like, "Nah, you definitely did." And I was like, "Well, today we learned a valuable lesson, huh, Pops?" And that was the last time I ever saw him. R.I.P. Just kidding. That was so stupid. You stole $40 worth of gas, Shawnee Mac, you savage-o? I'm just going to parlay the Colts and the Cardinals straight up. I could do that later, actually. Let's do a 3-teamer. Living for the city here. We got 3 minutes left to get this work. I'm going to keep betting on stuff. I'm going to hit the theme song. Let me know if you chose to pay cash inside, went inside and bought a muffin, forgot I filled up, dipped out, made like a mafia boss. One time I stole from the mall, and I had it in a bag, a different bag, and I walked out behind a group of people that were paying for something, and then I just walked behind them close until I was gone from the store. Like, the thing went off. The security thing went off, but they had stuff from the store, and I just had a regular bag. It was a knockoff Xbox controller, and I regret it every day. I regret it every day. And that's why I still can't go to the mall. Just kidding. That's stupid. Yeah, that was a fun one. That was a fun one for sure. I like this under, and I like this over. Gotta stop betting on stuff. I'm going to take my favorite play of the day and put the rest of my balance on it so I don't look at it. Now that we have 1 minute left, let's play the theme song and get out of here. Have a good Sunday. I'll go to 105 making this gambling pick. I don't give a fuck. Oh, man. These Jets, the line plummeting because of the absence of Khalil Mack. I mean, they still don't have an effective rush. I do like the Lions. I think they're a little undervalued. Deep passing warranted. The run game, I think defenses will step up there. I like the Ravens in Carolina, but I'm not sure. Guys, you're a blessing. I love hanging out with you every Sunday. It just keeps getting better and better. Shawnee Mack, national treasure. We don't know what we got. Go to 105. You showed up late, you blockhead. I mean, what do you want me to do for another 5 minutes? What do you want me to do for 5 minutes that is really so impactful, you know? But no. They just took all the games off the board on FanDuel. I'm making bets, guys. I'm making bets. Go to 105. You ask and you shall receive. Bengals, Bucks, Ravens, Panthers, first half under. I do love when the music kicks in and I got to get bets in and the clock is ticking. Red zone time. Enjoy channel 335 on Verizon Fios. Shawnee Mack, send me a message. Text me so we can talk about Boom. Send me an email. How many ties today? No ties today. I love you. Stay beautiful, y'all. I hope all your bets come true, and we'll talk later in the day. Mwah.